Welcome back to another Ret Paladin video. Verabin here. Today we are going to be looking at a few hotfixes that went into place this week and one that actually went into place last week that are pretty significant nerfs to PvP. And unfortunately, we don't really have time to test these out significantly to see how they're going to affect Rated Arena. And my assumption is that they put these out before Rated Arena so that we wouldn't see anything crazy in week one. But I think that they might be a little bit heavy-handed compared to the other changes that had occurred. So let's take a look. Alright, before we get started with the video, please be sure to hodge that like button and subscribe for more Ret Paladin content. We're going to be covering rating, Mythic Plus, and PvP as Shadowlands progresses forward. I'm going to be doing about 2 or 3 videos a week, so you don't want to miss a thing. Alright, so there were several hotfixes that are going into play this week, and we're going to go through those here, and there's a few that are specific to Ret, and there's a few that are not that I wanted to point out. The first one is that weapons sold by Conquest will no longer require an additional achievement. So that's actually really important because before, Conquest weapons required 5,000 Conquest points in this season 1, so that means it was going to take you a really long time to get. You can only get, I think it's like 500 conquest points a week, so to get 5,000 it's going to take a really long time to get the conquest weapon, but now you'll just need to get the 1,800 conquest to get that weapon, so that is actually really cool. It's a good thing. And then another thing that I thought was interesting was that they randomly are increasing the number of players in Ashran to 30 from 25, so I don't really know why they did that. Ashran's one of my favorite battlegrounds, so that's pretty interesting. Okay, so let's get to the nerfs though. So you can see here that hunters actually did get nerfed a fair amount. So aim shot no longer deals 10% additional damage in PvP situations. God knows why they put that in there in the first place. Double taps extra aim shot deals 50% reduced damage in PvP situations. So this is actually a really good change in my opinion, because hunters burst in an opening was really strong. So that's a good change. The other change here for Rogue was that the Kyrian ability was reduced by 30% when engaged with combat by enemy players. I don't know if this is enough to keep Rogues in line, because I feel like Rogues were way out of whack before in PvP. I mean, if you've played Arena with any competent Rogue in Shadowlands, then you will know that they hit really hard and you can die very quickly for a Ret Paladin. We were going to have to bubble the opener basically. As soon as they opened, you'd have to bubble and stun them, and hopefully they didn't cloak. And anyway, it was just a mess. And there weren't any significant changes to either of these. It does look like for Rogues there was a little bit of a couple bug fixes and stuff, but nothing that really significantly changes the burst. So that's not great. And then to the Ret Paladin changes. So you can see that Ringing Clarity has been reverted back to 2 casts, 2 extra hits in PvP. It was 3. So it looks like that only applies to PvP. So that's kind of a little bit okay for PvE, but that does hurt our burst quite a bit. This was actually stealth nerfed after Shadowlands came out, or maybe it was right before Shadowlands came out, where it doesn't proc Lawbringer more than once. So in beta, when you did 2 or 3 extra judgments from the Ringing Clarity conduit, it would actually proc 2 additional Lawbringers, and that was changed to just do 1 Lawbringer. So every 1 cast of it does 1 Lawbringer. So that was previously nerfed. And you can see that the damage for it was actually reduced also. So not only does it only hit twice now, but the damage is reduced by 25% basically, or the bonus was reduced by 25%, I should say. So an effective like 12% nerf to the Kyrian damage there, or the Kyrian judgment there. And then Final Reckoning was now only 30% increase in your holy power damage. Like I said, I don't know exactly what the impact is really going to be there as far as what talents we want to take. It's definitely obviously going to have an impact, but I think we're going to have to test it out in real life and see how that goes. One of the most frustrating things in this change is that, number one, how long it took this to happen. If this had happened, the day after the expansion came out, then it would be a lot easier for us to switch covenants and stuff. And now, we're a couple weeks in, and I don't really want to switch covenants. And so I think that's, I think we'll have to, it remains to be seen what that impact is. So It's a little frustrating because I think Hunters and Rogues were much worse than Paladins were as far as bursts and things like that. And I think this is probably a little bit of a harsh hit for Hunters, but I think they probably needed it. But Rogues, I don't think Rogues are going to change. I don't think we're going to see any reduction really in their bursts. So it's going to be reduced a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be a significant change. All right, so one other change that I wanted to mention was that Healing Hands was actually nerfed from 100% increased damage to 70% in PvP. That was not in the patch notes anywhere that I saw, but that is something that happened, and that was actually happened last week. All right, so overall, I think the change is obviously is going to be pretty impactful for Ret Paladins. It's not something that I wanted to wake up and find out, but I think that, we'll have to see how it plays out in real life. We are obviously going to, they're obviously not shy to do tuning changes and things like that. So hopefully we are going to see some more changes to other classes if it's apparent that, that this is too much, or if other classes are still pretty overpowered. So that is all for the video. I appreciate the support that everyone has given on the channel, and please be sure to hodge that like button and subscribe for more Ret Paladin content. Definitely let me know in the comments what you think about these changes, because I think it's going to be interesting to see as we get the first season opening today.